Hey everyone, Marsh from Consequence here. I'm gonna go over Lithium, in the upcoming raid. So, in short, it's basically like a P1 and a P2 that keep repeating themselves with slight differences in P2 until you kill the boss. So talking about P1, first off, the room is absolutely massive. It's huge. Um, the main mechanic is this manifest moat, and this will basically spawn on a handful of players, and it puts a little orb on the ground, and if any other player gets in contact with it, it will create a radius that will do ticking damage, so you basically don't want to touch them when they're in their normal form. You can clear these by using these deconstruction energy right here. Two players get targeted, it's usually a tank and a random player, and they can clear the moats to clean up the room. Cosmic Shift is a knockback that the boss does. It's a cast. When this goes off, make sure that you're not behind or you're not in front of a moat, because if you are, you get knocked into them and die, or trigger like 40 of them, and it's terrible. The tank swap here, I don't want to talk about it. It was bugged on PTR. Your tank should just read over the dungeon journal. It's going to basically be your standard, like, you take this and I take this. On PTR, the radius was like twice as big as normal. It was also invisible. So every time it came out, our melee had to run away or stand really far from the boss. Or like, what we ended up doing is we actually had the tank tanking the ability to run away. It was clearly bugged. Leave it at that. And then this is just a frontal that the boss does, so be careful about his frontal. And at 100% energy, he will begin the intermission. So the first phase is all about controlling these moats. And I've changed up the positioning of this fight multiple times. Initially, we would tank it down here. For a while, we were tanking it in the middle. I think going into the first week, we kind of discussed it as a guild, and we're going to tank it in the top right corner for now, just to keep the middle clear to leave passageways. It's also easier to drop into the middle later in the fight. So, and the reason we're taking it here is because on testing, the priority ad is here. Now, just to talk about the intermission, there's going to be 4 ads that are going to spawn in this corner. And before you get into intermission, or even really like as soon as you're done with intermission or when you walk into the room, you will see the ads outline, so you know which ads are what. And this is like a general priority order that we made. You could probably swap the last 2 if you want, really depending on how you want to handle it. But these right here are the absolute worst, because when you kill them, they blow up and they knock you back in a 40-yard radius very, very far. And then they respawn and do it again. So those have to die no matter what. If there's 2 of them in the intermission, you're going to have to split up your team and do both. If there's 1 in the intermission, you're going to want to prioritize going there. These are little small dudes. They are like a little AoE pack that you do. Once they start casting on targets, they will ramp damage extremely quickly and start killing people, so make sure you have stuns for them. Also, just to say, when the intermission starts, I think you have like 30 seconds I think it's about 30 seconds, to kill them before they even spawn. Which is why I'm saying these are the worst. Take them out of the fight before they spawn. Once they spawn, they will do mechanics. Like, again, this guy will knock you away. This guy will start casting on your raid, and there's a bunch of them. I don't remember what the defense one does. Is that the one that drops a shield? It's the heroic one. Yeah, this one drops a shield, reducing the damage taken by everything. And the Guardian, I believe, puts a sentry that is like Guardian from the last raid, Sod. Those little sentries that would fly around. Same thing. So, in fact, I think the mob looks exactly the same as that boss. So again, we want to drop all the moats here, and then what we want to do is we want to pre-position inside here. Now, it's a single target fight, and the quicker you do the boss, the less intermissions you get. And in mythic testing, I think we got the boss like 2% or something. We could have easily killed it. But we realized that the like soft and rage is like 4 of these guys at once spawned. I am going to bring up normal testing because the mythic testing is a little wild. Um, and you'll see here that like, see how there's a guardian here? We have them marked, and you'll see like we have a guardian, and that guardian requires a kick. You'll see our mage dealing with that. So this is our like tank in the middle strat we were trying. Again, like in the strat I'm suggesting we'd be up here. And we're lusting on pull and we're going into the boss. Now on mythic testing we lusted on the ads, the really hard ad set, but again, heroic testing it might be worth for you to do the boss damage. So these are the moats, and again these would be over here. But these are the destructive energy, so one goes on the tank, yeah, that's a tank. And one goes to DPS, they clear, and see how they clear every time. In Mythic, and maybe even Heroic, there's going to be so many that you cannot clear. That's the knockback, which is like double in Heroic, I believe. And once the boss gets full energy, it will, make sure I'm in HD, I am. It will do, you'll want to run over to the ad. So there's the priority ad, it's X here. So again, we get another moats, and we're doing the middle strat right now. See how we're like stacking up? These are because now it's way easier for the circles to clear them. Get knocked back, don't be in between the knockback and the moats. And in comms right now, I'm probably saying, here's in moats, so they're going to go clear, and you see like they're going to get most of them. And he hit one, and that's what happens when you hit one, it drops like a pool. So there's the frontal, and then now you'll hear me in comms being like, almost at 100% energy, make sure the pre-position. And I'm going to talk about the alternative strat after this. This is just the strat that we plan on using, and I'll tell you the pros and cons of it. So the strat that we're using, at least on Heroic Week, you get one more moats, and I'm telling them just drop it on the sides because and some go middle. So that's just bad positioning. I'm saying pre-position in here because in the intermission, this happens. And if you're outside of this, then you are taking a ton of damage, like a lot. Once this dies, you're going to run over and you're going to deal with the small pack. And these are the second priority ones. So once they hit 100 energy, they become active, which they do. And they'll start chasing people around. And you see the Guardian over here. However, the Guardian did a cast and our mage ran over and interrupted it, which is good. And we're going to kill the small guys. And then as you see, we can see where the next ones spawn. See this? Guardian, small dudes. Autonoma was behind us, and I don't know what's in that corner yet. But the Guardian comes over here. And the boss is targetable. So we have everything under the boss. We're making sure the Guardian goes down. And we're going to the boss. Now, the Guardian can put up a shield. And I think it does put up a shield in Mythic when it dies. Again, this is Heroic. I'm talking about Heroic. So I won't say that. Just kill the Guardian and prioritize your boss damage. Because everything else is going to funnel in. I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, you repeat yourself. So in comms, you'll hear us say like, priority target is at this marker. Let's make sure we head over there. So you see me looking, and I guess in normal there's only 3, but in Heroic, Mythic there's going to be 4. So again, we're doing the middle strat here, which is fine. Like now the boss is in the middle, so we have to do this. But so like we would drop here first, and then we drop like this, and then we basically move the boss slowly to that blue marker. And you saw me like do a check on my camera over there that makes sure it was there. So this is the knockback, and then there's going to be like a tank frontal and the tank mechanic, and the tanks will slowly move the boss over to the blue marker. There's the tank mechanic, and it just killed someone. Yeah, like see how like big it is? It's way bigger than it seemed. So anyway, we're going to pre-position over here because when this hits 100% energy, we're going to want to pre-position in the blue one as a raid. And then it repeats itself. And now I'm kind of going to talk about what the alternative strat is. There's 2 strats that could be used. We've talked about using them both. And this is intermission. So in intermission, you will go to the ad. You'll go to this ad here. And you'll always send a group there no matter what. In a heroic testing the first time, we actually did the 2-group strat. So what you can do is you can send a group of players you can split up your raid in 2. So, let's say bad ad here, and then like a guard or a defense drone here. You can send over your your 1-minute burst classes and classes that have CDs lined up. And this might be the Mythic strat, by the way, but we'll see. And those classes can actually take out their own ad in a hit squad if the CDs allow it. And the other group can take out their ad if the CDs allow it. Now, one thing to note is that what you don't want to do is send one group here and one group here. And the reason for that is because the run is ridiculously long. So there's two potential things you can do. You can send one group to the far side and one group to the short side. The downside of sending them to the far side is that the run is so long, so only a certain amount of classes with their CDs line up and have the mobility to get there and kill it in time can do that. What we decided to do is send all our raid to one, which is the high priority. Then no matter what, we're going to run over to this one because the run's short. Whatever's here will kill, and then everything else will funnel in toward the boss. The downside of this strat is if the small ads right here, let's say we do here and then we run over here. If the small ads go here, we need a hit squad to actually break off to deal with the small ads when they spawn, because they will do a cast on the raid and kill you. And this happened to us in Mythic. So, Windwalker Monks, Havoc DHs, Warriors, like classes who can get over there quickly and stun the ads, deal with them, and then when the rest of the raid gets over, they can finish them off and make sure they're not casting is how you deal with that. So keep that in mind that is the downside of that strat, and the downside of the split up strat is, you're splitting up your damage, so if you don't manage to kill one, then they'll just come at full health anyway, and then you have 3 anyway. So for Heroic, I've decided to go for the safer strat. We just don't know their HP or the tuning or anything. So once we do, we might adjust. Other than that, that's Lithium. Decent fight. The room is way too big, but just keep in mind, drop your moats properly, clear your moats, don't get knocked into moats. Tank know how to do the tank ability. Melee don't stand in the tank ability. Watch the frontal, kill ads, and don't be afraid to rip your cooldowns on the ads. We lusted on pull. If you're not in max sod gear, it might be worth to move lust, and if they overturn the fight, you'll have to lust on one of the ads, that's for sure. So keep that in mind. You don't have to do exactly what we do. Other than that, those are the key takeaways, and that's everything I got. So peace out.